came fourth.
No, I think Ding came third.
Ding has chosen to start with the black pieces, and here we go. What are we seeing on the board?
Okay, it's very early. Will we now see the Queen's Gambit? Will we see the Nimzo Indian? Okay, we do see the Queen's Gambit declined for, I think, a fourth time in this match already from the Ding Liren side, and the Ragozin variation, White's Queen jumped out to give a check. This is still very well-known stuff. White's lost a bit of time with his Queen, but there are reasons for that. Black's Rook, meanwhile, developing. Black ready to throw pawns forward in the centre of the board, if possible. And yeah, just early days. Nice development for both sides.
And just a reminder about the regulations for the Blitz tiebreaks. They play 2 games, one with the white pieces each. And if they are still tied, we will head to Armageddon, where we definitely will decide a winner. And of course, time control in Blitz, David.
Yeah, the time control is 5 minutes per player on the clock, but they do gain 3 seconds after every move. So pretty much 3 times quicker than the rapid chess that we've been seeing so far in the event. And yeah, the players, they've been playing very quickly up to this point. That is good. Always the hardest part is switching from rapid to blitz. Just that mentality, that's just that speed, that decisiveness. And Simon, what do you think of the position?
Yeah, well, I think, first of all, it's a much quicker switch to this time limit than we saw in the previous playoff, when I think Pragg was, you know, I think against a niche, where he had a brilliant result beating a niche, but he was moving a lot slower. So that's a positive sign. I mean, generally, I like these structures for White, because I like having an extra pawn in the centre. Yeah. That's just, you know, one very basic thing I can say about this. I prefer to be White, but Black's very solid, and Black can get his bishop on a lovely diagonal on the next move. So it's all pretty normal at the moment, I feel. I'm sure Ding has prepared this position, but yeah, I'd still rather take White slightly at the moment.
Yeah, you've jinxed him though, Simon. Just as you say he was playing quicker, he's now stopped for 1 minute on this move.
I'm so good at jinxing people. If you ever want to lose a tournament, just let me say you're going to win it, and you'll be fine. I mean, like, yeah, got to stop it. So.
Well, we just saw some action in the centre, and now Praggnanandhaa has taken control, and it's all about whether Ding can start destabilising those pawns in the middle.
Yeah. First of all, it's time for Pragg to castle, get that White King to safety. You do have the pawns in the centre, but they will get undermined in a moment. Ding is going to start challenging those 2 white central pawns. So before things open up, why not get your king to safety? And, OK, he doesn't do this. He pushes even more pawns. He's trying to stop Black from breaking out on this left side of the board. He's partly gaining space, partly to stop the breakout. And Ding, very mysterious move, but there is a specific reason. First, he protects his light square bishop. That rook move, notice how the black rook is on the same line as the white queen. If things open up, that might be a factor later.
Ding moving so quickly. I mean, he's up on time. I mean, this is, you know, he's really playing a la tempo here and keeping the speed up, which is going to put some pressure on Pragg if he starts to freeze a little bit. Saying that, this is a key moment now. Now Black trying to break through, and White has a tricky decision to make here.
Yeah. Do you take this pawn? If so, which way do you take this pawn? Do you leave this pawn? Yeah, Simon, there's 3-4 choices.
I kind of don't like Pragg's b4. It kind of seems like it's just given Ding a target, actually, to play against. I think Ding's rook b8 seemed very, very clever. OK, so he's now trying to make some exchanges. Maybe he will push on with a b-pawn. OK, no, he's hitting that rook.
Yeah, so you mentioned that clever move that Black had of just swinging the rook across. I was going to say the position's about to open up, and that black rook's going to look great opposite the white queen. But no, maybe a clever move there from Pragg, hitting that rook. Maybe forcing it to move again. Will we see another set of trades of pawns? The position is really blowing open now. And Ding has slightly slowed down. Still much, much ahead on the clock, though.
Yeah, a really, really tense position, because, you know, White has signalled their intentions. You know, once the pawns get eliminated, the rooks will come to the open lines. The queen will also start occupying long diagonals. And I'm not entirely sure who is actually better here. It does feel like Praggnanandhaa still has a slight pull, especially with his time control. But he is down on the clock.
Yeah, to be honest, just from my experience playing Blitz, it's a lot of responsibility having more space, your pawn's further forward. And here, that's the case for Praggnanandhaa. If you look at White's pawn in the centre of the board, that is a target for Black's pieces. When you're playing Blitz, you don't want to be stuck defending those pawns, worrying it will drop off the whole time. So there's reasons for Ding to be happy as well. Meanwhile, Ding's rook did move out of the eye line of that white bishop in the centre of the board. And decision time for Pragg. How does he improve the white rooks? First, he trades a pawn, And white's queen is actually attacking the bishop up there, the black's light square bishop. Then again, if the white queen moves, then white's light square bishop falls to the black queen. So, yeah, a bit of tension there. Is Ding going to blink and move his bishop, or is he just going to ignore it and take back this black pawn, this white pawn?
And he captures the pawn. And now the question is, there's a lot of captures now. There's the queen takes the bishop, there's the bishop takes the knight. There's so many on the board. Which one to go for?
Yeah, I mean, it's all on the pieces, isn't it? Because it is a symmetrical structure now. So, but that doesn't mean it's equal here, because there's pieces everywhere, and there's pieces everywhere being attacked. So they've got to remain sharp here. One little mistake and something could easily drop off. Time situation, okay, it's still a bit worrying for Pragg. I mean, he's gone he's done half of his time, and Ding has 4 minutes. So that's again will be important later on.
Okay, first the bishop steps back, attacking black's rook. Black's rook now might step 2 squares back. That black light square bishop is also under fire, so double attack. Black's rook had to protect its bishop. There we go. And yeah, still very loose white's pieces. White's minor pieces, the knight and 2 bishops.
Wow.
Feel uncomfortable there, but Pragg gets greedy.
Yeah.
Brave move.
So could there be lots of simplifications now of black? Okay, black doesn't take the pawn in the middle. He switches his queen over, and I'm kind of... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looks like black's pieces are working so well together now. All of black's pieces look beautiful. And you're a pawn up, though, as white.
Yeah.
But
I don't
temporarily.
know. There's pins all over the board. And, OK, white defends the pawn in the middle. But I'm just looking at the queen and the bishop, how they're lined up on the same line. And then...
The white queen and bishop, right?
Sorry, yeah, the white queen and bishop, yeah. And also the black queen and bishop.
Yeah.
Beautiful diagonal for them.
It is a pawn, though. It is a pawn, and we saw Pragg win a game earlier on today where he won a pawn and he held on to that pawn, even though it looked like Ding had loads of pressure throughout. That pawn won the game. So that extra pawn, you know, it's nice to have.
And his one win yesterday, Pragg, that was because he had an extra pawn and guided it to victory. So his 2 wins so far against Ding have both been from getting greedy and just holding on to the extra material. And there we go. White's bishop was under fire, retreats back to the centre. Black's knight now putting some pressure on bishops. I don't think, ideally, you want to take off this black knight with one of your bishops. If black's 2 bishops get active, then black will be in control, despite the pawn deficit. So white ideally wants to keep his bishops nice and safe, and there we go. The bishop steps away from potential capture. How can black improve? Maybe the black rooks now will start lining up in the middle of the board.
Can you go crazy and play the F-pawn up 2 squares?
You want to blow open the position.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking, OK, it's a bit too much maybe, but, you know, at some point that could really...
It's still there.
It's still there. I mean, it could bring things to life. Like now, it's even stronger because you certainly hit a lot of people.
And it's on the board.
Oh, Simon, the fortune teller.
Yeah.
Well, I'm always a Dutch player, aren't I? You know, once a Dutch player, I'm always going to push that F-pawn 2 squares if I can. And with the time situation, I think this is a very good practical move, going for maximum complications when your opponent, Pragg, is only 1.5 minutes left, ticking down quickly.
Yeah, we saw the evaluation bar swing. Objectively, this move might be a bit dodgy. It does open up the black king, but Simon's right. It's the practical value, making your opponent guess, making them navigate this kind of tricky, muddy waters. And the white queen lining herself up on the same diagonal as the black king, but what's happening here? Maybe black now can go and attack the white queen. Nice intermediate move there from Ding. Before the white bishop is captured, white's actually a piece up. First, Ding went to attack this white queen. Where to move her? That's the question.
I guess I'd love to get rid of that bishop. And this is a brilliant, what a brilliant move.
Look at this. Stockfish confirms that was the best move, and Ding instantly reacted. Look at Ding, devastated.
Wow.
How did he find that, Pragg? Within seconds. That's a beautiful move. Your queen was attacked, but you kind of do a bit of a crisscross. You counterattack against the black queen in the corner of the board. If black gets greedy now and grabs the white queen, black's queen falls off as well. White is going to be a pawn up in a simplified position. What a move by Pragg.
Incredible move, right? To find that instantaneously with this crisscross situation, and that's put him in the driving seat now. If he can just hold on to the time, and yeah, like you said, David, it's Ding's face. It just dropped immediately, and he's done that a couple of times today.
We have to show this because it looked like white was in big trouble. This queen was attacked, and next move, wherever she moves, suddenly the other black bishop would jump out, taking the white bishop. And look at these 2 pieces. Dominant, the white knight now about to fall off, but Praggnanandhaa. He had seen even further into the future. Ding had missed that bishop takes pawn, does this crisscross movement, and here we go. The queen's maybe about to leave the board. If black does play bishop takes queen, then white is simply doing great. Yeah, white will end up with at least an extra pawn, and here we go. Ding couldn't touch the queens. He didn't take the queens, but now in the current position, we see white simply one extra pawn. Black has an isolated pawn in the middle. Also, the black king, very weak on this diagonal.
What a chance for Pragg. This is a great chance for Pragg. I mean, this could be a dream coming true in this game. Obviously, there's another game after this, but he's a pawn up with a better king, and look at the A-pawn, shooting up the board.
Again, Simon, he won the earlier game with his A-pawn, and now he's winning again with his A-pawn. I mean, just mirroring all of these games, and I mean, Ding, I can't blame him at all. That tactic was so hard to see, but Pragg found it.
I mean, I thought he was playing very well. Just, you know, not as well as Pragg.
But I have to say, you know, Pragg has been playing in a really calm way. You know, he's allowed the rook onto the second row. He's calculated everything, that the game will be won because of the A-pawn. And, OK, dangerous threat on the board for Pragg. The black queen is threatening to come down and capture the F2 pawn with a deadly check.
Yeah, black's queen and the black rook on the second rank, they're teaming up. First, though, Pragg can flick in a greedy move, another pawn capture, a pawn grab, and then why not go on the defensive? You're now 2 pawns up with white, and the white knight is about to start jumping in towards the black king.
This is surely over, isn't it?
It's
I mean,
totally over.
It must be.
Winning.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 45 seconds, but, I mean, this will mean Ding needs to bounce back in the next game. And Pragg's been so good today. So good. Just reminded me of Magnus at his best, the way he's playing today in these games.
I mean, just almost speechless with running out of superlatives for him, running out of praise for Pragg, because he's just so good right now. And he's just, with this last defensive move, guarding the pawn near the white king, he's just ensured there's no more risk. And look at the light squares around the black king. There's so many open light squares. The white knight is about to start jumping in. That might be deadly. First, the black bishop is lining up against the white king, but that is not a real scary threat. White's king can happily hide on a light square in the corner. And yes, you can gain back 1 pawn with Ding, but it takes too long. Not only does white have this extra A-pawn, that queen and knight combo that's incoming from Pragg, that's going to decide this game.
At least black does have a blockade of the A-pawn, you know, at least. And the queen and knight look like they should win the game, but you know, you might need to get another piece into the attack to finish it off somehow. There's still some chances of Ding. If Ding can draw this, it'd be, you know, it'd be amazing result for him.
And now both players around the 40-second mark, which means the nerves could start jangling, and Ding offers a trade of queens.
Question, to trade or not to trade?
That is the question.
I don't think
No
you should.
trade. No, don't trade, because the black king is totally unsafe.
Yeah.
Keep queens on, let the queen and knight together do some damage.
Under 20 seconds, I mean, something like queen over 2 squares, keeping on the light squares, seems very natural.
I don't like that decision. That's safety first. But now the margin for error is diminished. It's lower. If you lose one of your 2 extra pawns with white, Ding might draw this game.
And it's under 5 seconds. Pragg must make a move. OK, so he offers a trade of rooks, and 1 pawn is going to drop off.
Yeah, that's really clever. Now, the black bishop is attacked, and actually white was covering his back rank. So now he can keep his extra pawn. The white rook is very active. This is really clever from Pragg. I don't like the queen trade, but still, he's in charge. He should still win.
Yeah.
The white king is coming as well.
Yeah.
Give a check with the white knight. Bring your white king towards the centre.
Still looks very good, doesn't it? I mean, the white knight is a very powerful piece in the centre of the board here. Even if the knight gets swapped for the bishop, it's a very tricky ending. Maybe it's losing ending.
Black's rook is so bad.
It's so bad, and white is so well centralised in this position. It still must be Pragg who's going to win this game with 15 seconds left on the board against 33.
I feel like Pragg is a bit mean. You know, he gives Ding a little bit of hope and then plays this open endgame perfectly and says, nope, it was lost all along.
Yeah, that white king actually has a clear path towards the black pawns now. You can walk in on the light squares at some point. First, black is trying to cover the 5th rank. White's king maybe shouldn't rush towards those black pawns. First, a check, a really annoying check. And, OK, he's just repeating the position, gaining a few seconds. They do gain 3 seconds after every move. So, Pragg, though,
seconds.
Low on the clock. That's the only thing that can really stop him. It is a winning position. It's just the clock.
This is a lovely tactic, because I think now the A-pawn might come up the board and black's possibly going to have to sacrifice his bishop for that pawn, simplifying things for Pragg even more. I mean, can you push the pawn now, or can you get your rook behind the pawn? We saw Pragg do this before. He's pushed the pawn.
And that white pawn will cost black his bishop, most likely. OK, the black rook can slide behind.
Yeah, it's not so easy, maybe, is it? I mean, like, now that pawn is gone. OK, it's all about the kingside pawns here, right?
Yeah. Pragg just trying to... I mean, he's giving up his pawn. He's leaving it now. He's just trying to get active, but...
I don't know now. I mean, that pawn was such a trump, you know. This I think, now has got better drawing chances. Yes, the black king is in a lot of trouble here, but if you can just hold it off, drawing chances.
Yeah, and now the bishop rejoins the action. I mean, it still feels so good, but maybe he's let it go. Maybe he's let it slip. Now the bishop defends this key pawn on the g7 square. Pragg shaking his head. Yeah, maybe he's blown it. I think he tried to be a bit too clever. I was praising him. I thought it was winning as well, but Ding found a genius defense to get rid of that white a pawn. Now
2 seconds.
2 versus 2 on the same side. Oh, Pragg's playing with fire on the clock.
Yeah.
And how is he going to win? Those black pawns are defended by their bishop.
Yeah, look at the white king. What weird square for it. You know? Not necessarily stupid. OK, he's going for a little sacrifice.
But think it's going to work, though.
No, I mean, this pawn is going to be exchanged.
And the rook is going to just grab the g-pawn, and then it's just a matter of time before the rook pawn falls off.
Ding there, he breathed out massively. He's so relieved. And there we go, it's a draw. A knight alone will not checkmate. Oh, Pragg on the brink, but not enough.